Let me go to the first part of the presentation. So what is the magic? What is the pure magic that we're talking about? We are working with the brain. I was invited because Dr. Vipul got in touch with me way back, more than 6 months ago. Maybe sometime in July, if I'm right, of 2012. I got in touch with Leon, who is also a student of Barry, but specializes in cerebral palsy. He's with Spalding. It's a rehabilitation hospital, it's the research wing of Harvard Medical School. So I got invited for 10 days to study cerebral palsy because I'm one of the most senior people working from Barry's stable of people who have done neuro-modulation. So I got invited there, and this point comes next, I suppose. Why is this talking about, right? The brain didn't come up. Alright, so all of us know about cerebral palsy. I'm not getting into it. What is it that we're doing here? First is, we're trying to find out how is it that the nervous system develops, how does it function, where did it stop, what is it that made it stop, was it inflammation, was it genetic, was it injury, was it an insult, etc. And it is based on a very, very simple principle. Stimulating something by which you are going to help in self-regulation. Which is, put in another way, is a balance between excitation and inhibition. All of us know here, I mean, I'm the kid in the block, as it were. When somebody has a brain injury, which was, I work with the football team, the American UCLA football team. I think all of you know what they do. Only down. That's the way they defend everything. So, a lot of brain injury, and therefore what do you end up doing? What is the insult? Where did it start? How do you get all the excitation down and inhibition up? It could be the other way around, where the stroke patient, you have a lot of inhibition and very little of, because the brain is suppressed, because of all the issues that it has met with. So, how do you get that balance back so that it can self-regulate? Now, what is it that we are using? We used to call it biofeedback initially. It's a technique which uses medical instruments, or biomedical instruments, which helps the brain to learn. Okay, did it progress from biofeedback? Yes, it did. Biofeedback works both with the physiology, but these people have some internal issues. For example, insula would be damaged. If you have an insular damage, you're not going to use biofeedback to change anything. You're not done it. So what are you going to do? How specific can you be? How do you take it to the next level? You need neurofeedback. So in neurofeedback, what are we doing is, you have two processes that can be used in neurofeedback. What is it? Treatment and training. What is treatment? It's a passive way by which you help people move in the right direction. And when the brain, it's almost like physiotherapy. It's mental physiotherapy. If I had got a problem with my ankle, I used to run 6 kilometers, and suppose I broke down, the first thing that I will do is go to a person who can rehabilitate me in terms of doing physiotherapy. Here, it's mental physiotherapy, and then comes the training part where you do active things. So, you are actually controlling for certain things so that mental states you are familiar with mental states which really take you down or take you up. So, you get away from things which take you down, you avoid them, you inhibit them, and those which are conducive for taking you to the next level, you promote. So the brain can do both of these things. It's trained and operantly conditioned. Operant conditioning comes from Skinner and from way back. I don't have to prove operant conditioning to any of you. I think it's all already out there. So what are the brain stimulation things that can be used? It's RTMS. Many of us are using it. Cerebral Palsy, Harvard is using it. But one of the things that also PDCS is another thing that is used. But another thing that has come up recently is Neurofield, which is using 5 milligauss. One of the things, again, from my experience, I have seen is that the brain doesn't need to be hit with a hammer. It can be gently coerced a little bit, but taken in the direction very gently, and it moves very quickly. I think I still remember that one sentence that was from that movie called Shooter. It says, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. He's teaching somebody how to shoot. So if you move the brain slowly, it becomes very smooth in how it connects and talks to different networks in the brain. And a brain that is talking is functioning very, very quickly. So neurofield seems to have both, which is having a part of it which is stimulating, and therefore it is a treatment option. It also has other things which are training based and can move brains very quickly. And you saw most of what we did in that particular results that I showed you. Alright, so what does biofeedback do? It is psychophysiological. Instruments are doing the guidance. Patients observe their own psychological mental states and learn how to change them. Things that they did not know how to control. For example, in brain injury, it's quite normal. People becoming emotional, shouting, anger, big throw-ups. This guy was no better. The 22-year-old whom I showed. When he walked in, he was a molten volcano, ready to burst. When he walked out, there was a guy who was fit to go back to college and start doing his work. Second year, he was taken back into college. So, what are we trying to do? We are helping the brain to learn. And learn. When it learns, you're going to change anatomy, and you're going to help it regulate productive mental states. Last but not least, what do you achieve? You're achieving or enabling neuroplasticity in the brain. You're working on the brain's ability to change. You're working on the brain's ability to connect to the environment and make changes with respect to the environment. This is not just rehabilitation alone. Every school student needs this. Last year, I think it's about to finish. You're strengthening networks, you're getting neurons to fire together and wire together. You keep pruning unwanted things, bringing in new gene expression. So adaptation in the brain becomes better. It is ability to learn, and long-term potentiation is excellent. It reorganizes networks by itself. You don't have to try to do anything. This is the capacity of the brain. So we don't need to tell the stomach, hey, you know what, you have to digest. You don't need to tell the brain to organize. It can do this all by itself. So I see this, we've already finished this, and so just want to finish.